Speaking of the different ways in which people have been affected, COVID-19 and the lockdown affected you in a very personal way. Is that something that you're willing to share with us?
Yeah, I saw the questions come through when you sent them through, and yeah, it was a tough one because I lost my dad, and it was the second week of level 4. So it was really tough, and we're not just because Dad passed away, but there were so many different restrictions. And because it's the first time the whole world has gone through anything like this, you know, or definitely for us anyway. When Dad passed away, well, prior to that, he was at home just up in Mount Victoria, and they told us, they said, oh, look, you know, with the lockdowns and that, no one's allowed to come to the home. So the thing with Dad is that, you know, Mum goes there every day. That's the only thing my dad looks forward to. So when we got told that we couldn't see him, we thought, oh, okay, a bit of trouble. So we went to the window. We weren't even allowed to go to the window to talk to him. And then we tried doing video calls. They had, you know, some lovely people there that worked there, Samoan staff there. They give Dad the phone and we talked to him. The first day he was all right, you know, he was happy to see us on the phone. Second day he was like, what are you guys doing on the phone instead of coming over? Because Dad had a bit of dementia. So even if you explained to him one day that there was COVID and all that, he would ask again in the afternoon, you know, why haven't my family come? So when we knew that we couldn't visit Dad anymore, my wife and I, you know, we just quietly said to each other, if anything happens to Dad, it'll be because of a broken heart. And when my mum couldn't go and see him, we noticed my dad deteriorating health-wise. And then we got a call that Dad wasn't feeling well. They said they want to take him to the hospital. I took him to the hospital, and I said, oh, look, I need to come because I need to translate for my dad. And I thought, wow, here's an opportunity. I can go and see my dad. Got to the hospital, and, you know, I was trying to talk to my dad. He was trying to respond. You could hear him humming and ahhing and stuff. And then I asked the doctor, I said, realistically, hey, you know, how's my dad? You know, is he going to recover from it? They said, oh, your dad's really weak. Not sure if he'll, you know, be still here with us the next day or a couple of days. So I said, oh, look, I've got to get my mum to come in. So I rang up my wife, and I said, oh, your mum needs to come. But they said, oh, only one person's allowed in the hospital. By then, I was starting to turn into Incredible Hulk. And, you know, getting a bit frustrated, but at the same time, I understood that there were, you know, COVID and all that. And I didn't want anyone else to get in trouble and stuff. So I rang up my wife, said, I'll bring Mum in, I'll see what we can do. But once they realised that Dad wasn't, you know, going to make it, they allowed Mum and my wife to come in. They came in, and then once my mum called out my dad's name, he started trying to sit up. And all he wanted was just to see my mum one more time. And then what they did was they moved my dad on the side. He spoke to my mum, and he was just looking at her and trying to talk to Mum. And then for me, I was really, I was content, you know. I was happy that my mum could see my dad. And then from there, they said, look, Dad has to go to the ward, and only one person can go. So my wife and I said goodbye to Dad. Said to my dad, thank you for everything. I loved him. My mum went up. We went in the car. We had to go downstairs and wait for Mum because no one was allowed up there. Then I rang up my mum, the ward. Mum answered the phone, and then she said Dad passed away. So it was hard. And what made it even harder was that the funeral home, poor lady there, I can't remember, what was her name, Māori lady there. And she was trying to fight for us because first they said 10 people could go. you know. If he was to get buried, 10 people could go. And then the next day we rang, they said, look, if he gets buried, no one can go. But if he gets cremated, one person can go. You know, I left the conversation on FaceTime or whatever it was, and she spoke with my wife. And then we had a conversation with Mum, and we decided to give the whāloalo, give the respect to our minister, our Reverend, Tautianga, to do the service, because only one person could go. And then, but me and Mum could visit and dress him the day before, so only 2 of us could go. So, you know, I did a whole bunch of FaceTimes to all my family. You know, they could see Dad one more time. You know, called them up and said, hey, look, Dad's getting ready, and we're there with Mum. So, yeah, and then on the day, only the Rev could be there. But it was, you know, all done online, and it was totally different, you know, doing the service like that, you know, Dad's farewell, because we're a big family, you know, the extended family. We've come from a big church, and Dad was a late preacher, so, you know, been serving as a late preacher for a long time, for about 30 years. So, yeah, but, you know, even saying that COVID, in some ways, you know, you've got to look at the positive of it. And one of the good things about COVID was that it gave us the opportunity to grieve, because we didn't have to worry about hosting all our family and getting pusapi supos and iekongas and all that sort of stuff ready for Dad's Day. We could just grieve Dad's passing, and it was just us at home, you know, our little bubble. Oh, thank you very much. God bless yourself. There's my wife. She expired tissues. But yeah, it was tough, but you know, we were able to grieve, just us. Our house became like a drive-through. You know, family would come and visit. Mum would open up her window and talk to them, you know, and they would come and show love and you know, either bring food, or they were giving us money, you know, as a mea lofa. So yeah, it was different. And there's the old Samoan saying, e sui whaingai ku mau whawai. You know, the ways we do things change, but the foundations stay the same. And even though COVID changed many ways that we do things, but it didn't change the way our people love, you know. So, you know, it was really powerful, the love that people showed. You know, it was really powerful for our family, and real therapeutic too, you know, in terms of us being able to grieve and mourn Dad's loss. But we did a celebration, a memorial. Do you remember what day it was we did? June. And we had a whole church, we had a DJ, everything, you know, it was just about celebrating Dad. Our family from Auckland could come down. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, it was difficult. It's difficult for anyone when they lose a parent. But just with the whole COVID thing, it just made it that much harder. But there were other positives around it as well, you know. At the end of the day, no matter whether it's COVID or not, our family are always there. So, yeah. But yeah, I thought I'll just show some emotion, because I want to do drama as well. So just trying to show a bit of my talents, not just comedy. I can do a bit of drama with Peter Jackson.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think, you know, the loss of a parent is probably one of the most significant things that any of us could ever go through. And, you know, to have the COVID restrictions on top of that, yeah, means that it was a very unique grieving experience.
Yeah, sorry, Tupe, the one thing I forgot to mention was because we cremated Dad, you know, because that was the only way our Reverend could be there, was if we cremated him. Or else if they buried, we don't know if they did bury Dad or if they, you know. So, and you know, as Samoans, it's not a common thing, you know. So for Mum, it was like, she understood, but at the same time she was worried about our family, you know, maybe saying, oh, why would you do that and that? But when we, you know, when Mum called family and even the Reverend and elders from our church, even they said, you know, because of the situation, it's a, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. So we cremated Dad. Dad's at home in the bedroom with Mum. She loves it. You know, he's got a little shrine there with photos and that. You know, when the kids go to school, they say goodbye, you know, when they come home. And so, yeah, but, you know, I always, even before Dad passed away, I said to Mum that for me, and being the only child, you know, if Dad did pass away first, I would love for him to be cremated, only in the sense of wherever Mum wants to be buried, we could take Dad and bury, you know, Dad with her. So, yeah, so it's the first time anyone in our family's been cremated, so it was different. But in saying that, it's been really good for my Mum to be able to deal with, you know, and mourn Dad's losses, that he's there, you know, his ashes. So, yeah.
I'm really glad that there were blessings that came out of that experience, and in particular that you were able to have a celebration of your dad's life.
Yeah, no, we loved it. It's good food. Good old Wellington caterers, Pacific Show. They put on a mean feed for us. Just want to thank them and just our whole church family and that. You know, it was really nice to have DJ and they had to play some music, have a bit of a dance. And then the last thing for Dad and Mum wanted was just to be able to give gifts to and acknowledge the church for their love and all that for my dad. So, yeah, it was nice to be able to have the opportunity to do it.